food sponsorship, nigga.
Oh, man. If I get a food sponsorship, I'm gonna need a gym sponsorship. Then you'll go crazy when I come in with the super flow. What up, everybody? It's the Love First Podcast. It's your boy, Kata Don. We have a very special guest with us. Mrs. Dickerson is in the building. My wife, Mrs. Dickerson. Of course, we got the world out here. It's going down. Love First Podcast. Shout out to Rafe. Just cheers all around. It's going down. Shout out to Kwame Says Hi, which is going to be available February 12th. Yes, on katadon.com. Make sure you bookmark katadon.com. We're going to have a lot of exclusive content. It's about to get crazy. It's going down. 7 songs, man. Kwame Says Hi. It's going crazy. We got party tracks. We got R&B. We got drill. We got bachata. We got Nana's Prayer, which is something deep for the soul. We got Vacation, the ultimate party track. We got The World on there. Shout out to The World for Vacation. Shout out to Nautica and Wraith on bachata. Shout out to Wraith on I Quit. I Quit is going down. That video is going to be crazy, so just get ready for that. It's going down. We're glad to have you here on the podcast with us today.
Glad to be here.
So we're going to talk about finding true love, you know what I'm saying? Help everyone else out there kind of understand. I guess we're going to give them our view on love, right? Kind of tell our story, and then hopefully we can inspire people to approach relationships the right way. You know what I'm saying? Have a better view on relationships, and also understand what's toxic in a relationship, what kind of relationships you should stay away from, and then how you should act when you are in a relationship, that type of good stuff, you know? So before we even get started with the video, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. Share this video everywhere. Like and comment. It helps the algorithms. And on YouTube, make sure you're following us. Just type in Kata Don. That's K-D-A Don on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget that notification bell. Of course, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere else. And Facebook is one of my favorite places where we at. Love First Entertainment, Love First TV. That's where we just got daily news for you guys, daily content every single day. And of course, katadon.com. Make sure you're on there, katadon.com. Yes. All right. So let's talk a little bit. But when we first met, right? I think it's kind of interesting. What was your mindset even before we met? Like, where were you at as a person, as a woman, mentally? What do you think?
Well, I would say mentally, I wasn't really looking for anyone, really. So then when you stumbled across my path, it was a different experience, because you're not really looking for it, and then somebody's like actively trying to be in your life. It's a little bit more rewarding than you just actively going looking for it, and then this person is messing up, then you don't really see the value of your relationship.
Nah, for sure. And I think that, because I think you thought that wasn't as romantic, at first to be able to like that, and I'm like, yo, that's super real, because I was in the same mentality of, one, I'm just focusing on my career, right? I moved from Florida to New York to do a lot of things in New York. So I'm like, I'm going to be extra focused, So I'm just focused on this goal. I want to be better than I was before. Now, not to say I was amazingly better, but I made that commitment with inside, and spiritually made that commitment that this is what I want to do. So not looking for it, but making that commitment to be a better me. That's when it was like you got revealed to me in life, and then that's when it happened. So I think that's really dope, because a lot of people I see, they have a lot of frustrations, especially the people that are searching for love, like just actively searching, right? Now, when you search for love, you should do it a little different than just going out trying to fall in love with everyone, right? That's not the way you want to go about it. If you're truly searching for love, you want to build yourself up. You know what I mean? Definitely. Get you where you want to be. If you're not happy where you want to be, why are you bringing someone else into that? So I think before you even start going out there, focus on yourself. Get yourself where you need to be. And then that's going to come, So that's just kind of something that I wanted to point out, because I know a lot of people that are just, consistently searching, and then they're really depressed when it comes to love, because they're just actively giving chances to situations that they maybe shouldn't. Now, if you're in a situation, always give the advice, look, it just prepares you for the person that's for you. I've been through a lot of relationships and situations that I feel like it made me a better man by the time I got to you. You know what I'm saying? So what would you say is your view on that?
Well, I mean, I feel the same way. You have to be working on yourself because honestly, before I met you, I was going through a lot, like, in life. So to the point where I was just like, I'm done with everyone and I'm going to try to be like alone and work on myself. And that was literally maybe like 3-4 months before I met you. I made that decision and then I met you in June and, you know, things just took off from there. We're still here.
For real. Yes. We met like 3 years ago, right? Yes.
Almost
awesome.
4.
Almost 4. I knew that, you know what I'm saying? It's just confirmation. Just, you know, in case it'd be the comment he didn't know. I knew. Right? So let's kind of talk about like the beginning of our relationship, right? So, and it comes with learning from your past, right? So instead of being depressed about the situations you've been through and have an ominous look on the future, right? I look at it as a journey to get to where you want to be, right? So I believe in speaking things into fruition. That comes with faith, that comes with the Bible, or even just, you know, people of the world, like they say, they do affirmations as well. What's the word they use for it too? They have like a special word. It's basically like speaking into fruition.
Speaking into existence.
Into existence, yeah. Basically the same thing. So when you know that you shape your reality and that the vision that is inside you that you want is not just from you, it came from a higher power, you know, and that higher power with us is God, Jesus for sure. Having that vision, it just helps you appreciate the journey. It's like, hey, I know I'm gonna get there one day, so I'm gonna appreciate the journey. That, hey, this situation made me stronger. This situation helped out. So what we kind of took into the beginning of our relationship is I had past relationships where social media was not helpful to the relationship growing and probably stunted or stopped it, you know? So because one, you kind of focus on what is the other person posting, what do they mean by this, who's liking it, who's this and that, right?
Who is this person?
You know, so that's not the stuff you really want to stress about in the beginning of a relationship. You know, the biggest thing, like for us, I feel like was we wanted to build trust in each other, get to know each other before we get to that factor. Because that coming in early before you build a genuine trust, any little thing can hurt. You know what I'm saying? And like me, you know, I was like weird back in the day. Like if you post like LOL at like 3 a.m, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? I can't be going through that type of mental stuff. You know? So that was just kind of something that I took from learning from past relationships. So by the time we did add each other on social media, we were comfortable and confident in our relationship. We didn't feel like we're not trying to prove anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So just building our genuineness before we can do this. And even I've had those, you know, conversations with you that like, you know, eventually I want to do stuff out there so we can inspire. But before we can inspire, we got to make sure we have our foundation together.
Yep.
So how, like, you have any thoughts like as far as like social media or even just stuff that you learned from past relationships that kind of you apply to this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Because we knew each other, maybe 5-6 months before we add each other on social media. And it did help because, you know, it's not like everybody isn't all in your business at every time. So they don't know the minute you got with this person. They're not clocking you the whole relationship. Like, have you taken this person out? You haven't taken them out in a long time. Like, these are things people actually watch on social media. And they shouldn't be in your relationship. So I'm glad that we actually...
Yo, not even to cut you off, right? So that was another issue, right, from social media. Was like, in the past, right? It's like, I won't even notice things on, like, whoever I'm talking to, like, what they even posted, right? And then I'll have a friend that's like, yo, did you see that? So it's like stuff that you're not even stressing. Now you have a bunch of friends like, yo, da-da-da-da. So that's another factor of why, you know, like, for real. Okay, so let's talk a major thing about relationships and love. And I used to just do business before this. So this perspective, I had this relationship with love actually helped me do my business together. And that was when you have a partner, a true person that you want to be your partner, it's not about right or wrong or winning or losing. Because if it is about it, you're both going to lose. So what I learned, it doesn't matter if you're 90% more right and I'm 10% right. It's, do we want what we have to work? Do we want our partnership to move forward? So when we have that in focus, that taught me to move differently. I didn't realize how many times in life with business associates or relationships that I was just trying to win. Like, I don't want my heart broken. I want to be in a good position. But instead of focusing on, I don't want this to happen to me, we should be thinking about what we do want, right? Yeah. And that comes with speaking of fruition. That comes with having higher level frequencies, and energy. So having that, I want this relationship to work, it put me in a whole different mentality. I don't need to negotiate to get this. No, I want to make sure this works. Listen, maybe you're wrong, maybe you're right, but look, let's look past this. Let's think about the bigger picture, So that's definitely something I think all couples should really take into account from beginning to middle to being together for 50 years. It's not about winning or losing. It's not about wrong or right. Because at the end of the day, you can tell someone they're wrong all this time and they could be wrong. And then you're putting them down instead of actually trying to help y'all get to the bigger picture. And then you lose them and then now y'all done. So you just wasted that. Just to be like, I was right. What's the point of being right and have nothing? Here's a question. So as a woman, right? For the males watching, and then I want the women to comment in the section too. The same question, what you think about this, and that in a relationship, what does a woman want? What do they want from their partner in a relationship?
Oh, well, I'm not going to speak for all women, but I know for me, the main premise is somebody who's going to support me when I need support, somebody who's going to protect me when I need to be protected, somebody who's going to care for me when I need to be cared for. And in turn, I'm going to give you those same things. So this way, you're meeting me halfway. Like when you're sick, I take care of you. And then in turn, when I'm sick, I need you to take care of me. Sure. That's what I want in a partner. And then somebody also to obviously provide. And I will be providing as well. So I will actually, that's what I want. Somebody who's going to actually meet me and compare. I'm sorry. Somebody who's going to actually meet my level, and then we could work together and move up even more levels. Or even if like you're not there and you need help, I'm here to help you. And then vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. No, and you definitely do that. Like, that's for sure. So I think that's a great question. Like, I want to see women in the comment section. What are your needs in a relationship, right? I think as a man, well, actually, before we get there, right? Because I kind of just looked it up, right? Just kind of Googling, like, what are common things that what women want, right? And it does say kindness, right? They want kindness, patience, understanding, empathy, and compassion, right? Regardless of the type of relationship, men and women should be considerate of each other's feelings. Being supportive to the women in your life can do a world of good. Supporting your partner is the primary role. And that's 100% what I agree with, is because I even try to do this with people who I work with. So definitely in a relationship, definitely in a marriage, my thing is to support what your dream is and let you know that dreams can be accomplished if you turn into a goal. So one of my major things was with you, with the woman I'm with, is like, I want to understand, what are your goals? What are your wants? And sometimes we're still growing up. We don't know exactly what we want. So what I did to be supportive of even not knowing was encouraging you, look, as long as you give 100% to something, you're going to benefit and you're going to move forward. Even if you don't understand where you want to go, putting 100% to something is going to move you forward. Yeah. And then as you were doing that, it started giving you more and more clarity, and things can change, what we do, but definitely being supportive. I would say it's pretty similar from a woman to man, but as a man, I kind of feel like it's the same, the things that we're looking for, that's very important. I'm gonna say for myself, and I think a lot of my guy friends are the same way, but it's definitely like loyalty, respect, and support, So we're all about like loyalty and respect in the way that, one, you're loyal to us and you respect us, but also even how you move out there in the world, that you can represent, like, yo, this is this is my wife. It's a reflection. And just like your husband should represent you. So how you move should show the respect and loyalty that you have for your man, you know? So that's something that definitely 100%. And then my personal need, because of my spiritual goals, was that my woman have a foundation in Jesus and God, you know? And it doesn't mean to be perfect, doesn't mean that, but just to have the hunger to want to grow. And that just tells me if we get into a disagreement or an argument, we have a foundation that we can at least come back to. So it's not just based on how I feel, how you feel. If we both just disagree and we need to come to something, then at least we can both agree, hey, we can go to this book and we agree, you know? Let's talk about things that you should do in the beginning of a relationship, right? Right? Things that you should do. So focus on the present and not the past.
Definitely.
Why do you feel that's important?
Because if you're focusing on the past, then... So, I mean, honestly, there's a huge saying, when you look back, you may bump into a brick wall. And that means if you keep focusing on the past, then you're not going to keep going. You're not going to go forward or far into the future. You need to look into your present and then keep moving forward. And then you can adjust the way you move in your present by what happened in the past. But you're not going to focus on it. And you're not going to be like, well, 30 years ago, you did this. And I'm afraid that you may do this someday. No, you don't do that. That's crazy. In my opinion.
No, I agree. I think that, yeah, in order for someone to grow, you really can't throw the past at them. And then you're living in the present. So you're kind of wasting the time that you have together by thinking about the past, you know? Like even what I used to say in like the start of our relationship, right? Is like, hey, why waste time arguing? We're gonna be cool again. We're killing time in the present, and we can just be enjoying each other's moments, you know? So that was kind of like that. Another important thing in the beginning of a relationship is to talk about the future early on. Some people don't necessarily like to do that. They just want to show their best foot. It's almost like a performance. But you got to be real. Talk about these things because it's going to come up eventually. From kids to politics to how you view marriage, all that type of stuff. You kind of really want to know, especially if you get into a serious relationship. You want to at least know their stance. Now, you can ask about marriage. It doesn't mean like, hey, as soon as you get in a relationship, you're trying to get married. But you kind of want to know where it stands, so that lets you know how much, you know, do you really want to invest into this? You know, are they interested in taking it to that level if that's what you're looking for? Make sure you're attracted to the person and not just the idea of the relationship, right? Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Yes. So you don't want to just be with somebody just because you like the idea of being in a relationship, because then you may leave this person to be with somebody else who's attractive. And all you're going to do is just keep looking for love when you need to just focus. And then this way you'll have the relationship, you find somebody you're attracted to, and then it'll last longer because you're actually attracted to this person.
I think what you said, 100% facts. And another major thing in the beginning of a relationship, and I think a lot of people avoid, believe it or not, don't skip the sex talk, right? That's from talking about STD testing to how many people have you been with to your likes and dislikes sexually, right? So one, you got to be able to have this talk. And I think some people are uncomfortable with it, but it's important to have it for your own safety. That's one. And then two, you can have a great sexual relationship by communicating. It might not be the best that you want simply just because you're not communicating, you know? So communication is everything. And that's what you want in true love. You need to be able to communicate. So that's just something else that you also need to be able to communicate on. Meeting each other's friends, right? An important thing early in the relationship too, and beginning relationships, if we want to grow and be serious, is to meet each other's friends, right? I think it's important because one, it kind of gives you a judge of their character, right? Because you're going to hang out with similar people. And then you can also see how do they treat their friends, and that lets you know how they are. What do you say you get from out of that?
Same thing. And then most of the time, the friend is not trying to impress you. So you can get a lot more of the person that you're trying to be with, their true, how they really act, how they really talk, are they really fronting, like trying to make it seem like this person that they're really not? You can actually get that from their friends. So I do definitely agree with that.
Definitely. Another thing, especially in the era we live in, don't have important conversations through text, right? Communication is something that even by the time, if you do get married, you will not have communication mastered. It's something that every day of your life you have to put an active effort, and you will always learn something new. You know what I'm saying? So communication is important. So you want to have those conversations face to face, not important things through the text, and then it also helps you gauge how they actually feel about it instead of a text which you can't tell the tone really.
Yeah.
Another important thing is in the beginning of the relationship, right? A lot of people put on a performance because they just want to show their best side, that sometimes they're not even themselves. You want to be yourself. Eventually, this relationship, if you want it to last, you can't trick them. You want them to see the real you so you can be comfortable. You don't want to have to pretend. Right now, I can tell you there's a lot of people in this industry that came up with a whole gimmick of pretending, and now they can't stop, and they would love to. And they're stuck pretending. You do not want to be stuck pretending, and you can't pretend forever, and eventually it's going to stop, So be yourself, right? Got anything to add on that?
No, I agree.
Right? Actually enjoy it. That's a big step in beginning a serious relationship. Actually enjoy the relationship. Give us a little insight on that.
I don't know. You do have to enjoy it. I mean, even though in the beginning you probably won't even realize that you're actually having fun, but once you have that time, where I probably realized it when you went to visit your family for like a week and a half, and then you kept pushing it back, and I was like, oh my goodness, like where is he? And so when you really enjoy it, then that's when it makes for a better relationship, especially when you look back and you want to reminisce about like the happy memories. So you really should enjoy it.
Yeah,
it'll make for a better relationship.
And a lot of people don't even enjoy it for the simple fact of just trust issues, right? They'll literally go into a relationship starting, and they'll have an exit plan. And they're too focused on, I need to make sure my exit plan is ready, that they're not even experiencing and enjoying the moment, Whether it's good at that moment or later on, you want to be able to enjoy that time. It makes no sense to just be stressing. Be in a relationship and stress, let's say it lasts a year, you stress that whole 365 days. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it. Actually enjoy your relationship. And that comes with, don't worry about labels and what everyone else is trying to say. My personal thing is, I was never a label person until it made sense. We got married. But I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on, let's build our relationship. Also, you do want to also have some time apart, right? A lot of relationships, you might be together all the time, every single second, and ditch your friends. Still have some time with your friends. And still have the balance to see the person. And make sure you do have time for the person. Don't just ditch the person you're trying to build a relationship with, but find a balance. Find a good balance. Enough time where you can grow, get to know the person, and enough time that you have time for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that helps you appreciate being together even more. Stop bringing up your ex. Don't bring up your ex, right? That's not going to help you build a serious relationship. Don't bring up your ex. Don't compare this to that. Don't do any of that. It won't work. That's never a problem that we have. But that's, some people to know. I like this quote right here, right? Most people think relationships are 50-50 when they're actually 100-100, right? Some of the best relationship advice I ever received is that relationships really aren't all about compromise or trying for 50-50. Contrary to popular misconception, you can just contribute what you think is your share. No, for a happy, successful, long-lasting relationship, give all that you're capable of and expect the same in return. Of course, conflicts will arise and will arise even longer when you're together. But both of you should be 100% in the relationship. You cannot split up relationship responsibilities like you split up a check or a dinner date. On a dinner date. And I think that's so real because we kind of talked about it. It's like some people be in life and they're 50% where they want to be and they're looking for someone that's supposed to complete them. No, get where you want to be. At least make that genuine commitment, like a real one that's in your heart and you're making those moves. You make that commitment to get to 100% yourself. and it will come together. But you shouldn't want your future person when they're 50% and you're 50. Because honestly, y'all probably won't even be ready for each other and it won't work. And that's something that could have worked, but just because y'all weren't nowhere near where y'all supposed to be ready, it didn't. You know, I feel like we met at the perfect time. We were mentally in the right place where it was time. Communicate how you feel often, right? I think that was the biggest thing too. Like, I don't think you really like to communicate like really how you feel, you know, your feelings and stuff. And then we went through a lot of just like, you know, me like one trying to like read your mind and then like, you know, I can't read your mind. But just, you know, convincing you this is a safe space to say how you feel, and it's not about right or wrong, right? To make this work, I just need to understand what's, you know, what's going on. What do you think helped made you comfortable to be able to start, you know, like communicating how you feel?
The consistency and patience. So it was always, this is always a safe space. So you reiterated that not even a couple of times, all the time. And then he was very patient. So even when I didn't want to talk about it, he was just like, okay, we're going to come back to it. And you waited till I was ready to talk about it to actually talk about it. So, yeah.
Dope. You know, and I think part of it, especially when people aren't comfortable communicating, I think a lot of people came from situations where they felt like they were never heard, you know, and people aren't going to respond to them. So they almost feel like it's a waste of energy. It's uncomfortable to kind of speak that how you feel, because that takes a lot of confidence. And then for someone to kind of shut that down, it doesn't work. So even when it comes to communicating and you're helping someone through that process, you can't be hard and be like, oh, that's wrong. You need to help someone get through that process and make sure you're making that comfortable for them. And the next one, right? What you want to make sure you do, actions matter more than words. What does that mean, and why is that important?
Well, it means exactly what it says. You have to keep showing this person that, you know, they're safe around you, you love them, you're here for them, you want to support them. And instead of just saying it, you need to like actually show these things. So show that you love them, take them out, you know, randomly, or do something that they enjoy. It don't even have to be taking them out. They could enjoy doing puzzles or something. Like, you can do stuff that they enjoy and they see, you know, this is, you know, he's trying to get to know me. I'm making it safe. These are all things that people do to make a safe space to get comfortable with somebody. So your actions alone will get people to be more comfortable. Just like in a party, when you get more comfortable, people just start talking randomly. So actions do matter.
100%. Because a lot of people can say they love. And they're not even. They won't show it. Like, you can say you love something, but then you won't spend time. You won't talk to them. And that's kind of an instance where you have words, but your actions aren't reflecting it. It's better to even just show it before you even say it. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, like, I would say, like, what you kind of helped me better with was texting, right? I was horrible about, like, texting, communicating on the phone. Everyone has a story how they can't reach me. I'm the hardest person to reach. So you really got me into, the, like, texting. Like, yo, you need to text back, da-da-da-da-da. And then that kind of, you know, because I'm saying I'm interested in you, and that's what I was telling you. And then you basically said so much words, well, then you need to communicate. It shouldn't be like a day later when I get a text. It shouldn't be, or even like 8 hours, you know what I'm saying? It should be like that. So, and that kind of taught me, okay, I'm saying I care, but then I'm not adjusting this. And I just took it like, I text everybody like that. But if I'm saying I care and I do see you as someone special, then that's an action I'm taking to show, you know?
You gotten better.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, nice. I don't know if everyone in the world can say that. Again, and then now let's kind of talk about a few don'ts, right? You shouldn't do in a relationship, right? That's coming on too strong, right? Don't come on too strong. When I think of that, I think about How I Met Your Mother with what's his name? You know the show How I Met Your Mother. What's the main guy's name that's looking for the mother? Ted, right? It just reminds me of Ted. Like, sometimes Ted comes up like way too strong, right? Like, you know, Ted, like the first day will be planning up the marriage, this and that, you know, and you know.
Say I love you.
Yeah, you really want to build you want to let them know about each other, but I would do a lot more listening, especially in the beginning, right? Rather than coming on too strong. Maybe being too controlling about what you want, because if you want a relationship, it's not about just you. You got to have standards and expectations for yourself, and those are different. Like, you don't want to let down your standards and expectations, but you got to realize this is a whole nother person, right? Now, what you want, what I want, can I bend on that for the overall picture? Does that really break my expectations? Does that really break my standards? If not, then we should move forward instead of being too rigid on them. They kind of talk about performing them, being from yourself, moving too fast. Why do you think moving too fast is an issue?
Because you don't get to know the person. Next thing you know, you married a serial killer. So you just, you can't move too fast, and then you won't talk about the things that you need to talk about.
Another thing is not establishing clear boundaries early on, right? So what I learned from past relationships is perspective, right? Because how I used to move is like, if a female does something that I personally wouldn't do, I'm just like, oh, I see you intentionally did this wrong. I don't rock with you with that. I started learning that it's about perspective. If you don't communicate to have this conversation, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't like this and that. We're letting each other know what we're comfortable with, what we're not. You know what I'm saying? And then having these conversations, now it's like, okay, we communicated about it, and that's that. Because we might do certain things that no one's even looking at, like, I didn't even know you felt that way about it and think about it. So instead of thinking intentionally, hey, they're doing this intentionally to hurt me, I'm done with you, it's just kind of, no, let's communicate, establish our boundaries, and go from there, Anything else you want to add to, like, don'ts in the relationship?
Well, no, not really. Don't let your friends really influence you, because
yes,
they could look into social media backgrounds and then they'll be like, don't ever be with this person. But then that's, that person's helping you look into the past. So.
Yeah, you know what? I like what you said too, because especially if you're upset with your partner, you also don't want to put that business out there, because while y'all can turn around and forgive each other, now your friends and them have an issue, and then that kind of makes it harder for you, like, moving forward. So I agree with that for sure. Let's kind of talk about toxic relationships, right? Because just like there's good relationships out there, there's toxic. So let's kind of break down 34 minutes. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, let's break down what a toxic relationship is, right? So there is a news article, and they define a toxic relationship as any relationship between people who don't support each other, where there's conflict and one seeks to undermine the other, where there's competition, where there's disrespect, and a lack of cohesiveness. So a toxic relationship, it sounds like, one, the opposite of teamwork. You can't be competing each other in the relationship. The only time we compete is like, I dance so this is going to happen. It's going down. But, so that's kind of the definition of a toxic. I think some bad signs, if you see this in a relationship, you should look at these as red flags. And that's one, passive aggressive behavior. I think that's one of the worst signs, right? Because that's someone that they're not even communicating, right? So when they're upset, what they do is they do certain things to get at you without communicating, and that's passive aggressive. So one, they're not communicating, which is making it worse. And then they're showing aggressive behavior, which is taking actions towards you without any type of communication. Jokes that aren't really jokes. How people say there's like a truth in every joke. You're in a bad relationship when you have to walk on eggshells around somebody. Yeah. You should never be uncomfortable when you get home because of the person that you're with, and just have to be scared about what you say and how you say it. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that way. And some people try to tell us that, hey, marriage is like that. That's what it's gonna be like. We're like, no, we're not gonna do that You're not gonna say things to just say it.
Because there's a line between being respectful and being disrespectful. Like, you know how your partner is. So if you're gonna be, I don't want you to say that. You know, you don't want them to say certain things. That's more controlling. But if you guys have like, you know, it's just a fine line between respect and disrespect. So when you're walking on eggshells, you already know, because you already set these clear boundaries, that you shouldn't be doing these things. Now, once y'all set these clear boundaries, if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells every day of your life, you shouldn't be with that person.
Another sign of a toxic relationship is when you're grown, or any relationship, but definitely if you feel like you have to ask for permission, right? And now that was the kind of thing that we've even talked about, right? That we talked about. We don't have to ask each other permission, but we need to communicate with each other and let each other know what's up. So, and that's where where people shouldn't be confused. You need to communicate with your partner what you're doing. They should not be finding stuff out everywhere else. Now, everyone's grown. You're not asking permission, but you're letting your partner know what's going on. And hopefully you're not continuously doing things that's making your partner uncomfortable. So, feeling like you have to ask for permission and they're telling you no all the time, that's kind of a bad sign. Constant exhaustion. If you feel exhausted from your relationship, this should be like the thing that helps recharge you, the thing that brings healing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I look like for Jones, and another bad sign is just being isolated, where they won't let you see your friend. They won't let you see anybody. They're just trapping you R. Kelly style somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's bad. That's bad. You know, they should be confident. They shouldn't be so jealous like you can't leave the house. You know what I'm saying? They have to be confident. You want to have trust in your relationship. If there's no trust, that's definitely a sign of a toxic relationship. What's the point of being with someone if you can't trust them? If you feel like as soon as you turn around, you don't know what's going to happen, and you're not there, you're not knowing what's going to happen. You don't want to be in a relationship like that. So people want to feel like, is this love? Is this a good relationship? Is this my soulmate, right? So little things you want to look at to know you're on the right path is that, 1, you can work together. 2, there's a real commitment. 3, are you your best self when you're around them? Are they bringing out the best you? That's who you should be with. Do you identify with your partner? Can the logistics of the whole relationship work? Everything that's going on. And have you resolved your major relationship challenges?
Yes.
And 2, well, not 2, but the last, are you choosing your partner for the right reasons? Don't do it for clout. Don't do it for, what are the reasons people could choose partners for wrong reasons?
Oh, I mean, the biggest reason right now is clout. Or trying to get back at someone else. You shouldn't even do that for that either.
I only need a partner for one thing. I cook, I clean, I do all of that stuff. So
you see, the world is out there. Put the world Instagram out there. He got you, ladies. So these are just like things that we want to, because we see a lot of people either want to be in relationships, people that are in relationships, or people that don't. And we just want to open your perspective how to look at it, because it's a great thing. It can bring healing. It takes away a lot of stress. Like, you helped me a lot, even like just business-wise, motivated. Even before you actively got involved in the business, you're like, hey, you need to pace yourself. You need to make sure you sleep so you can think right. You need to make sure, you push me to work when it's time to work. You push me to rest when it's time to rest, So things of that nature. So we want to help you guys. We hope that you guys learn something from this. Share this with your peoples. Let's spread love. Like, that's the major thing we want to do in 2021, because there's been a lot of hate. There's been a lot of cancel. So why hate when you can love first? It's the Love First podcast. What up, everyone? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell for the latest podcasts, music videos, and comedy skits. We got a lot more content coming your way.
We here all day, baby.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, baby.
Yeah, we gotta show love first like a podcast.